Hi loves, welcome back. I'm super excited to share this new video with you all, and I apologize for the long hiatus. Life got busy, but I'm back now. Welcome guys. So to begin with, I've gone ahead to draft the basic bodies, and I'm going to start off with creating my chest line where I wanted to start, and I'm going to go up by 2 inches above my chest line, and I'm going to connect the lines like so. So the next thing I'm going to do afterwards is to mark my client's bust pan line, and hers is 4 inch. I'm going to mark it on the underbust, the waistline, and the hip line, and I'm also going to connect that lines like so. I'm going to straighten that line like so, and I went in by 1/2 and 3/4 inch on both sides of the waist and 1/2 inch on the midpoint and the side point of my underbust. I went in by 1 inch, and I will connect the line like so. So I have in both the waist and the underbust 1.5 dots. So I went in to mark my bust point line. I'm going to connect the line like so, and I will also go ahead to label it. So I'll just connect those lines to meet the bust point line. I'll just curve it to meet the bust point line, and I'll also go ahead to mark 1/2 inch on the midpoint and 1 inch on the side of my chest lines, and I will curve like so. So I'll just go ahead to show that this point is where we're going to cut off. So from my hip line, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, and I will just curve that line like so. I'm going to connect those lines like so. So if this is too fast, you can slow down, and this part is where we're going to cut, and I'll go ahead to put the measurement. And in putting this measurement, I'm going ahead to take off this 1.5 inch that we took for the dart. I will also go ahead to put it. So go ahead and do the same. I went in with the allowance of 1 inch. I'm going to mark it on my waistline, my hip line, and I'm going to also connect those lines like you see. Afterwards, I'll go ahead to create my sleeve. On that part, I'll divide it by 2, and I'll go in by 1/2 inch, and I'll add a bit of 1 inch there so to get it contoured, and I'll go ahead to curve, and I will be sure that that was what I want. And at this point, I went in deeper in because of the sleeve method, and I'm going to use the last one that I created to work on my sleeve. So go ahead and do the same. So I went in by 1 inch on the center front, and on the bust point I also went in by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect that line like so because I feel like I don't want to show more of the cleavage. And on that down part, what I did was just 2 inches, and I'm going to also go in by 2 inches on that end, and I will just curve like so. So this is not like, it doesn't come with any measurement. I just curve as I go. So you can start off with using a pencil till you are okay with the desirable curve that you have there. So in getting the side dart, I went in by 2 inches, so I'm just going to connect that line like so. So this part is where we're going to cut off, and on this part what I have there was 9 inch. I'm going to just go into divide the parts because we're going to slash. I'm going to divide it in 1 inch like so, and I'm just going to connect those lines like so. So just do the same, or you can go on any number you want. In creating my cap sleeve, what I did was just to connect that line to meet my shoulder line, and from there I will just go ahead in 1.25 inch on that end and 2 inches on the shoulder line, and I'll connect that line like so. So I did an alteration there whereby I connect the line to meet the bust point line. The because my pattern paper was not enough, so I joined, and the length of the dress is 55. So this is what I have, guys, so I'll just go ahead to cut it off. So this is what I have for my front pattern after I was done. So this is what I have. We'll go ahead to cut the back. So something I did to the front, I've gone ahead to lay down the flat basic bodies. So I'll just go ahead here to mark my client's bust measurement. And I'm also going to go ahead to mark the neckline in order to create my shoulder slope. And I'm going to go in by ½ inch for my back armhole curve, and I'm going to connect to the shoulder. The length at which I want my back to start is on 10 inch, and I'm going to connect those lines like so. Go ahead to mark my bust pound line, which is 4 inch at the back, and I will just connect it from the waist and the hip line. I'll go in by ½ inch on both sides, and I'm going to also go in by 1/4 inch on this, or a pinch on both sides, and I'm going to go in by 2 inches like we did to the front, and I'm just going to connect that lines like so. So this is what we have, guys, afterwards, and I will just go ahead to impute my basic body measurement, and also I'm going to add the darts allowance that we took off earlier on, and I'll add it up to the measurements like you are seeing in the video, and I'll go ahead to add my 1 inch sewing allowance to the pattern, and I'll go ahead to connect. So go ahead to eliminate bulge by going in by ½ inch on the waistline, and I'm going to connect like so. Also do the same thing on that part, and afterwards I will also go ahead to take in that 1 inch measurement for the zip allowance, and I'll just connect it like so. So go ahead and do this trick, and you will thank me later, and I'll just label it my zip allowance, and from here I will just go ahead to connect like we did in the front. So I'm just trying to use this to curve the one I have at the one I used for my front pattern. I'm trying to use it to curve to the back, because whatever you have for the front you should equally have it at the back. So go ahead and do the same like you see me doing in this video. I'll go ahead to label my pattern, and the next thing I'm going to do is to connect that lines where my measurement starts, so we know where the allowance sits. And after I connect the line, I will also go ahead to cut. Before cutting the back sleeve, I brought the front sleeve to be sure that we are at the same space. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is this. Because I did not mark my actual measurement, I have this error here which I just corrected before cutting it out. So go ahead and check all those things before you cut your fabric. So for the back, I'm not going to slash. I'll use this front for both the back and the front. So let's go ahead to cut. After I was done cutting, this is what I have for my back pattern. Okay, so if you've gotten to this point and you're yet to subscribe, please do it to subscribe and turn off your notification bell so you know when I post new video. In creating the cape, I joined the side and center front with tape, and I went in by 3 inches on that part, and I will just go ahead to connect, and from my center front 1 inch, and I will mark this loop like so. And this side front I went in by 1 inch, and I'll connect to meet the 3 inch. So the next thing I'm going to do is to use my tracing wheel to trace this out, and afterwards I'm going to use the marker to rule it like so, and I'm going to trace it out. And this is what I have, guys, after I was done cutting it out. So this will be placed on the front like the picture that we have of the dress. So I'll go ahead to take off my tape to separate this in order to join this to my fabric. So this is what I have after I'm done cutting. So if you want to see the video of how we create that dress, please do wait to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned, because the next video I'm going to upload will be the sewing tutorial of this dress, and I can't wait to see you there. Please and please, if you're here to subscribe, do wait to subscribe to my channel and turn off your notification bell so you know when I post new video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.